One happy night changed everything. At a family party where people were laughing and having fun, bad men with guns suddenly broke in. They shot many people, including someone's whole family. This is where our story begins. Years later, we see three friends hunting in a thick forest. They're looking for animals together when Dale sees something and goes off alone. Just as he's about to shoot, a strange man appears from nowhere. This man, who is bald, pushes Dale into a deep hole and kills him. This mysterious man is Ryan Varrett. He used to be a police officer, but now he's different. Why? Because bad people killed his family at that party, and Dale was one of them. After dealing with Dale, Ryan drives to a small town called Hope. Hope isn't a normal town. A dangerous group of people on motorcycles controls everything there. They're so scary that even the town's police chief, the sheriff, is afraid of them. But Ryan doesn't care about this at all. He has something important to do in Hope. On his way into town, Ryan stops to buy some things at a gas station. He asks where he can sleep, and the worker there, Kirby, tells him about the only place to stay, a motel run by a young woman named Darcy. Not many people come to Hope because they're scared, so Darcy is very surprised when Ryan shows up at her motel. She can't believe someone would be brave enough to come to such a dangerous place, but Ryan just calmly tells her he has some business to take care of. In another place, FBI agent Frank sat with his team. They were planning how to catch Dale, who had done terrible things. He was both a killer and had hurt many women. But suddenly, another agent rushed in with news. Dale was already dead. The story then takes us back in time, showing us Ryan's old life as a police officer. We see that terrible party again, the one where everything changed. Ryan was having fun with his family when bad men with guns burst in. The sound of shooting filled the air and many people died, including Ryan's whole family. We learn who was behind this awful attack, Drake Santiago. He was an angry man who hated police officers because they had put him in prison before. To get back at them, he decided to hurt police officers and their families. Ryan was shot that day too, but unlike his family, he lived. Now, back in the present, Ryan is driving around Hopetown. He spots some motorcycles outside a building. Then something happens. A gang member comes out, looking very angry at a dog that won't stop barking. The man pulls out a gun, wanting to shoot the poor dog, but Ryan steps in quickly. He beats up the gang member to teach him a lesson. The noise makes other gang members run outside to see what's going on. Their leader, Drake Santiago, comes out too. Even though Ryan is standing right there, Drake doesn't know who he is. This isn't strange. Drake has hurt so many people that he can't remember all their faces. Drake decides not to make trouble about his beaten-up gang member right now. He has other things to worry about, but something about Ryan makes Drake worried. So he tells his younger brother, Rexo, to follow Ryan and find out who this bold, bald stranger really is. The next morning brings trouble. Rexo tells Drake some bad news. A club owner in town won't pay them money for protection. This makes Drake very angry, but he has an interesting idea. He challenges the club owner to a boxing fight, just one round. Drake makes a deal. If the club owner wins, he'll never have to pay them money again. Even though Drake isn't young anymore, he's still very strong. He easily beats the big club owner in the fight, but Drake is smart. He doesn't hurt the man too badly. After all, Drake thinks, a dead man can't pay me money. Drake and his gang make money in many ways. They force people to pay them for protection, but they also run places where they make dangerous drugs called meth. Even with all this business, Drake doesn't forget about Ryan. He wants to know more about this mysterious bald man. That evening, Rexo goes to Darcy's motel. He asks her if a bald man named Ryan is staying there. Darcy doesn't want to tell him anything. This makes Rexo very angry, and he starts threatening her. He says he'll make her life terrible if she doesn't tell him about Ryan. But Ryan is nearby and hears everything. He steps in and fights Rexo, beating him badly. Darcy gets very worried. She tells Ryan something important. Rexo isn't just anyone. He's Drake's younger brother. Drake controls this whole town and he'll want revenge if you hurt his brother. But Ryan has a bigger plan. He doesn't care about Darcy's warning. He takes Rexo to the gang's drug-making place. Then he does something shocking. He ties Rexo to a car and makes it crash into the drug lab. There's a huge explosion and the whole place burns down. Rexo dies in the fire. Ryan walks away, happy that his plan worked exactly as he wanted. Drake and his gang rush to their burning drug lab. They can only watch helplessly as the fire eats up everything. Then they find something terrible. Rexo's dead body in the flames. When Drake sees his brother is dead, he becomes filled with burning anger. The sheriff and his helper come to look at what happened. They find Drake's gang still there. Drake walks right up to the sheriff and says something scary. If the sheriff tries to stop their gang's business, Drake will hurt the sheriff's whole family. The sheriff is too afraid to say anything back. He thinks to himself, maybe if I let them do what they want, they won't do worse things to our town. The next day, Ryan has a new plan. He follows a gang truck that's carrying drugs to another city. He's very clever. He lets the air out of one tire. When the driver stops to check the flat tire, Ryan attacks. He hits the driver's head against the truck door. Then Ryan does something big. He makes the whole truck explode. One of Drake's gang members sees the explosion and runs to tell Drake. When Drake hears that the truck was full of drugs, he gets very angry. He has lost a lot of money. Drake thinks hard about who could have done this, and he starts to think it was Ryan. Drake wants to know more about Ryan. He tells his men to bring Kirby, the gas station worker, to their gang's place. Drake wants Kirby to help find out who Ryan really is. He tells Kirby that if Ryan destroyed the truck, Drake will kill him. Poor Kirby is very scared and feels he has no choice but to help Drake. Later that day, Kirby starts looking for clues about Ryan. He sneaks over to Ryan's car near the motel and starts searching it. But he isn't very lucky. Ryan walks out of the motel and catches him. Kirby gets nervous and quickly invites Ryan to have a drink at his house nearby. He hopes this will stop Ryan from asking questions. But Ryan is too smart for tricks. As soon as they get to Kirby's house, Ryan asks straight out, "Why were you looking through my car?" Kirby feels scared and tells the truth. Drake made him do it. Just then, they hear a motorcycle outside. A tough guy named Crab, who works for Drake, shows up. He wants to fight Ryan, but even though Crab is strong, the fight doesn't last long. Ryan beats him easily. Instead of hurting Crab badly, Ryan lets him go. While all this is happening, Drake is busy talking to the police chief. The chief tells Drake something very important. Ryan used to be a police officer, but he quit his job after some people killed his family. Drake gives the police chief money for this information. That night, something scary happens. Drake and his men go to Kirby's house while he's sleeping. Drake is very unhappy because Kirby couldn't find out much about Ryan. As a punishment, Drake tells Crab to take care of Kirby, and we know this means something bad is going to happen to poor Kirby. The next morning brings terrible news. Kirby is dead. When Ryan finds out Drake's gang killed Kirby, he decides it's time to act. He goes straight to Drake's club and fights all the gang members there. Then he does something shocking. He grabs Crab, puts him in his car trunk, and kills him. Ryan leaves Crab's body right where Drake will find it, in front of the gang's main building. It's like sending Drake a message. When Drake sees that someone killed his trusted friend Crab, he gets very angry. He calls all his gang members together and tells them to get their weapons ready. Drake wants to find Ryan, no matter what it takes. That night, something scary happens at Darcy's motel. Darcy hears strange sounds outside. She gets up and takes her gun, ready to protect herself. But Ryan knows who's coming. It's Drake's men. He tells Darcy to hide behind the desk where she'll be safe. The front door opens slowly, and Drake's men sneak in. Ryan waits quietly until they get close. Then he tells Darcy to turn off all the lights. The room goes completely dark. Suddenly, loud gunshots fill the air like thunder. When Darcy turns the lights back on, she can't believe what she sees. All of Drake's men are lying dead on the floor, but Ryan isn't hurt at all. Ryan knows they can't stay at the motel anymore. It's too dangerous. He tells Darcy they need to find a safer place, but Ryan makes a big mistake. He doesn't know that more of Drake's men are waiting outside. They jump out and attack Ryan, hitting him again and again until he blacks out. Ryan wakes up tied to a chair. He's in the gang's headquarters, an old ship. Next to him is Darcy, also tied up. Drake stands in front of them with a cold smile. He says he'll kill them both, but first, he wants to make Darcy suffer. Drake leaves the room and tells one of his big tough men to hurt Ryan. The man starts hitting Ryan hard, but Ryan has a secret. He manages to untie his hands. He fights back and quickly beats the big man. Then Ryan runs through the ship looking for Darcy. More gang members try to stop him, but Ryan is too strong for all of them. Finally, Ryan finds Darcy. She's tied up with tape over her mouth. He quickly frees her and they try to find a way off the ship. But Drake won't let them leave so easily. Ryan knows what he must do. He has to fight Drake one last time. He tells Darcy to run and get safe. Before they fight, Drake says something shocking. He remembers Ryan now, the police officer whose family he killed years ago. Drake thought Ryan had died that night. They start fighting, and it's a terrible battle. Drake is strong, but Ryan is better. Ryan knocks Drake down and thinks he's won. But Drake isn't finished. He grabs a knife and tries to stab Ryan from behind. Just when things look bad, FBI agent Frank appears out of nowhere and shoots Drake, saving Ryan's life. The FBI hopes that now, with Drake gone, the town can finally be peaceful again. Frank decides not to arrest Ryan. He thinks the police still need good people like Ryan to help fight bad guys. Ryan leaves town, but tells Frank they'll meet again someday. The story ends with a funny lesson. If you ever want to fight a whole gang, make sure you're a former police officer who's really good at making things explode.